With all the controversy surrounding Activision Blizzard and its current CEO Bobby Kotick, I have come to the conclusion that the absolute majority of people have no idea what a CEO is and even does. Furthermore, the situation gets worse when you figure out that the majority of people who are in the discourse surrounding Blizzard and the current situations with Bobby and whatnot also have not the first clue about what a CEO does, should do, should not do, should know, and should not know. And that's precisely why today we're going to be dispelling a lot of these common misconceptions. Hashtag thank you Bobby Kotick for sponsoring this video, kiss kiss. And with that being said, with the help of our good friend Asmongold, let's hear a couple of interesting points.
I'm sorry to tell you, but whenever Bobby Kotick is removed, or if he is removed, World of Warcraft will not just improve the next day. And it might not ever improve.
That is not an if. Activision shareholders and the board of directors have wanted most likely to remove Bobby Kotick from the moment this news hit the internet. Activision stock plummets after report CEO Bobby Kotick knew of employees' allegations for years. Now, when you read into this and actually think about the facts, it's overblown. Yeah, the guy knew about a couple of things, but the reality is, in most situations, the CEO doesn't know about these things. The only people in a company that are comfortable with going to the CEO and saying, hey, we got some struggle snuggle accusations up in here, are the legal team. No one else wants it to be said. When we look at this chart, which is not exactly Activision Blizzard's chart, this is essentially how it goes. There's the CEO. There's the directors of different branches of what needs to be done. Under those directors are smaller manager level people who control other people who do menial tasks. When something like those allegations crop up amongst these menial people, the manager needs to deal with that. The managers will always try to swipe it under the rug so the director doesn't hear about it. Because the moment the director hears about it, that means that the manager has effed up. AKA, he could lose his job, because it's his job to take control of those people so things like that do not happen. And when the director hears about it, well, you can bet your bottom biscuit that he's gonna try and do everything for it to be swept under the rug so the CEO doesn't hear about it. Anytime there are any sort of these accusations in a company, everyone does their utmost hardest so the news does not reach the director. And this article specifically talks about some high-standing director or whoever who made a lot of money for the company, and where Bobby Kotick himself intervened and said, yeah, we are not probably firing this guy, and they didn't fire him after some severe accusations. That's how it works. People at the top, people of extreme value, will be saved from situations like this, even though some kind of HR council or whatever said that that person should be fired. Bobby Kotick will know about these cases because Bobby Kotick has interactions with the directors, and we're going to speak about it a little bit later on, who Bobby Kotick actually personally knows and has interactions with. But Bobby Kotick will know about accusations of people who he knows personally and has interactions with. So that's nothing ununderstandable. Am I wrong there? No, I'm not wrong. It is completely understandable he knows that, and other situations he does not know. Plus, a lot of people are saying, well, he should have told that to the director of to the stockholders. And that's not exactly true. If nothing bad happens, then he has absolutely no need to tell them that. If nothing bad happens with allegations like this, it would be the same as Bobby Kotick just went up to the shareholders and said, well, we improved the parking lot It's better now. Those people would be scratching their heads and just saying like, okay, Bobby, how about you tell us something actually of importance? If it's not a bad thing, if it's a fixed thing, if it's a thing that has been prevented, there's no reason ever for the investors to know about this. Now, some of you are probably thinking, but aren't the investors suing Bobby Kotick for no information on these things? Well, yes, but the investors don't give a shit about anyone. They just give a shit about the money. And if they see an opportunity to sue someone to get a little bit more of that moolah for themselves, they're gonna 100% do it. At the end of the day, while Bobby Kotick is a golden rock star, a golden pinnacle of a man high up in heavens for the common folk like you and me, he's nothing to the investors. The investors do not care about his measly existence as a whole. So that's a thing. And yes, if they removed Bobby Kotick, you know what he would be replaced with? A guy who also does not know what World of Warcraft is, a guy who has no idea about gaming, and a guy who would need to prove himself to be as good as Bobby Kotick, if not even better, which means that the games would most likely get worse because he would force more microtransactions, more scummy predatory practices in those games. Why? Because he would need to prove that he is a fit replacement for Bobby Kotick. And Bobby Kotick has been paid hundreds of millions in compensation for a very, very good reason. It's not random that he's getting overpaid that much. It's because he delivers in money generation. So the person who would replace him would do the exact same things as Bobby Kotick because the boards, the investors, don't want to replace someone who generated them a lot of wealth with someone who's not generating them a lot of wealth. It's extremely simple when you think about it.
Bobby Kotick is not an integral reason why World of Warcraft is bad.
Exactly.
Now, I think that there are elements of World of Warcraft that are made worse because of directives that he sends down.
Exactly.
Right? Like having a faster release cycle, having more microtransactions.
Bobby Kotick probably doesn't push microtransactions. In reality, every department has their own goals to achieve, and most likely some of those goals can be easily just achieved by implementing more microtransactions. That's how it usually happens. Bobby Kotick may not even know what exactly a microtransaction is and know all the small details, even though that's something that he does not necessarily need to know. He most likely has heard about it, he just does not care that much. Most likely the director of some kind of position in Blizzard just uses microtransactions as a relatively easy way to meet demand goals.
Absolutely, and we're going to get into that. But to say that Bobby Kotick has a tangible and material effect on the reason why the class tier sets in 9.2 look stupid, Bobby Kotick doesn't know. Bobby Kotick, he probably doesn't know.
He stuttered here, so I'm almost willing to give him a pass. The whole reason why I picked this video is Asmongold is an amazing person when it comes to critiquing games that he has played, but when it comes to a financial sense, when it comes to actual work experience and how things like this work, he has absolutely no clue. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but essentially this is a 14-minute, 11-second long video where Asmongold has not stated a single true thing, and the closest thing he got to was a half-truth, because he does not understand how businesses where there are thousands of employees actually function. It's all from his limited perspective, essentially. So that's what makes it wrong. And the scary part is, as I was mentioning at the start of the video, is the fact that there are so many people surrounding this conversation who have absolutely no idea. Look at this. Almost 600,000 people have watched this video, and only 247 dislikes, even though in 14 minutes, not a single truth was told about how a business functions or how Blizzard most likely functions.
Oh, what the tier sets look like. You know what I mean? Like, he probably is not really sure.
So here the thing is, there are things that everyone should know when they're working in a company, what they should know about and what they should not know. It probably sounds strange to a lot of people, but if Bobby Kotick legitimately knows about what the hell a tier set is, or what even a set in World of Warcraft is, I would call that intimate knowledge about the product. Bobby Kotick is a CEO. A CEO does not know all of these small things, especially a CEO of Bobby Kotick's caliber. Because Bobby Kotick is not just the CEO of Blizzard, he is the CEO of multiple companies. If he knows such intricate details about what happens in World of Warcraft, I would be mind blown, honestly. But currently, the most mind blowing thing is that people can even unironically imply that Bobby Kotick should know what a tier set is. Understanding what a tier set is so drastically above Bobby Kotick's pay grade that it is, well, honestly, it's offensive to Bobby Kotick to imply that he should know what that is. Bobby Kotick by no means should even understand what a tier set is. Tier sets are completely meaningless to Bobby Kotick and what Bobby Kotick's goal as a CEO in a company is. Now, should the people who are the well, they're not CEOs no longer, but the real person in charge currently of Blizzard and making all the decisions should know what a tier set is. But Bobby Kotick does not know what a tier set is.
He doesn't have any idea, but they're still bad. So
yeah, he should never have an idea about what that is. And the fact that just someone can imply that he should know is just no. If he, I honestly can only say I will laugh about people who will unironically tell me, but Bobby Kotick should know what a tier set is. No, that is not even remotely close to what Bobby Kotick should know about. Bobby Kotick is not in an integral part to these things. Let's talk a little bit about something interesting called inner business structures or inner organizational structures. It's a complicated name, I know, but if you have ever been in a a rudimentary business class, then you probably already understand what I'm talking about from these things. And this is what I showed you previously. It is very important to understand what a CEO actually knows, interacts, and thinks about. So, this is a CEO. Sometimes next to the CEO, when you're making a diagram of who is under what, a CEO can have next to him the board of directors, his vice president, or so on. That's kind of a small thing. The smaller you want it, the more branches, the more whatevers are going to be. But usually, under a CEO in a large company like Activision Blizzard, there are directors. There's always a director of finances, there's always a director of HR, and then there's, directors of whatever. For each company, it's going to be different, but there's the CEO, and under the CEO directly are department heads. Usually, again, 100% finance, 100% HR, and then it's whatever it is. If it's a logistics company, then it's a logistics. If it's a marketing company, then there are things surrounding marketing. And usually under these directors, because they all represent a part of the company, there are also multiple branches. For in this example, director of marketing, there's marketing managers South, Midlands, and North. The distribution here will be always different. It depends on the company, but all the directors are going to be responsible for subdivisions under them that are integral to their activities. And that director oversees the managerial positions. And those managerial positions after will oversee smaller individual actions of people. And the chain of command, which you may have heard the term before, which is very commonly used in military, always also exists in companies. Usually, a managerial role has no interaction with the CEO. The managerial role has the interactions with their own director. Also, a director, for example, of operations can't just go to anyone randomly from marketing and just tell them to do something. That's not how this stuff works. So, the CEO usually only interacts with the directors, and he most likely also knows the right hand people of those directors, or the most promising, talented people of that place. The CEO has interactions with all of the subdivisions at the same time, with the directors at the same time if it's something that everyone needs to know about, or it is spread amongst, like, if he needs to talk about how things are happening with HR, then it means that the director of HR and the people responsible for the subdivisions in HR, whatever they are, also can meet the CEO. So the directors have a direct interaction with the CEO, and the managerial positions have sometimes direct interaction with the CEO. And the director, the right hand people of the directors sometimes also have interactions with the CEOs. That's kind of not here nor there. Some companies have it, some don't, and so on. Also, it can be the CEO, and then there can be one person below him, or multiple people below him as an executive board acting. Now, the situations like that are here, there, it's different for almost every company, but this is the general way it works. The CEO does not talk with the pleb at the bottom. There's a reason the term ivory tower exists. All the head honchos are in the ivory tower and they never get down from there. That's a 100% real thing. The ivory tower does exist, and the average pleb will never interact directly with the CEO or even with the director. The CEO will never go down to the lowest of low levels to just walk around the casual filth and ask them how their day is going. Even the director will sometimes, directors sometimes rarely visit specific, manager offices or things like that. It just does not happen. And that's a huge misunderstanding about what the CEOs know about. This is where it comes from. The CEO can literally not have interactions with everyone. There's simply not enough hours in the day. Also, a huge misunderstanding is about how many hours CEOs work. Because a lot of people don't see the CEOs. There's a misconception that CEOs don't work long hours. They work 2 hours a day or something like that. Same sometimes for the directors of certain branches, certain offices, and something like that. Now, granted, there are situations where it is true. I personally know of situations where the CEO takes 90% of the year off and there's absolutely no problems. But trust me when I say this, even in a situation where the CEO takes 90% of their time off in a year, they 100% almost always have done something to earn that capability of doing it. Because no one is a CEO at random. Well, there are CEOs who are pretty shit at random, but that's mostly because of family-owned businesses and whatever. But a situation like Activision doesn't fall under that, sadly. CEOs, on average, there's this song, working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. A CEO's work does not end after 5. The CEO is pretty much on the clock almost 24/7. When a CEO goes to an expensive restaurant to eat lunch, he's most likely meeting with a business associate. Their lifestyle may be glamorous, but they work a lot of hours. They work on average, a CEO works more than your average 9 to 5 person. Way more, in fact. And so in a lot of cases, the directors, admittedly, managers and directors and sometimes CEOs, they can be certain situations where it's even good that the CEO does nothing because that just is a sign that everything's going good. But mostly that is, 100% false. So let's go further, or I think this was it for this part.
Please try to keep this in context. This is mainly, the strategy.
Yeah, now we're gonna skip that part and we're gonna go to the second part that's actually very important. Why Bobby Kotick cannot be removed as CEO.
Bobby has $300 million payout, and directors will probably leave with him. What the decks look like, and it doesn't matter how much food you have because everything fucking sucks. Getting rid of Bobby has $300 million payout, and directors will probably leave with him. Why did the Titans never remove the old gods from Azeroth? It's not that they couldn't. It's that removing them from Azeroth would cause so much damage to it that it could actually destroy Azeroth in the process. Bobby Kotick is an old god. Bobby Kotick has his tendrils and his tentacles and his little fucking his influence.
Essentially, you get the point. If Bobby Kotick is removed, then a lot of people go with him. This is 100% false. This is not how loyalty in reality works. First of all, the way that top brass positions get changed, this is what usually happens. If Bobby Kotick leaves, yeah, there's probably going to be a couple of people who leave with him because, they simply have no choice but to leave. And it's not because of Bobby Kotick, because Bobby said, you're coming with me. No, loyalty does not work in that ways. Sure, there are a lot of people in the top positions under Bobby Kotick who Bobby Kotick personally said, hey, come here. But those people also understand that they're going to be replaced the moment the new CEO arrives. When a new person inherits or gets a position of power as a CEO, or in some cases a director of something, those people switch out the old blood with people they know that they can trust and so on. This happens constantly in a lot of businesses. A new director of whatever arrives, he fires the managers and replaces them with managers that he knows, he trusts, and so on. But the moment that director is fired, the managers usually still stay there. Like, people have this misconception that, yeah, if that happened, if I'm hired because, he's my friend, that I'm gonna have to instantaneously just move away when my friend just gets replaced. No, that's not in reality how humanity works. Those people are gonna stay in their places as long as they see fit. And those people are going to be removed if someone else comes and they want to replace them because, they can replace them with someone they know and they can trust. I have seen this occur multiple times. In fact, in governments, this occurs so often you would not even believe in government institutions. If you're American and the Republicans are owner of X, the moment the Democrats win over and have the power, all the institutions, the top brass will be replaced with now democratic choices of leaders. And the next time the Republicans win again, those same Democrats will again be replaced. It works pretty much always the same in almost all governments and all institutions. In very many cases, if there's a change of power, the heads of adjacent power also get replaced. And the same thing happens in private companies when a new director of something comes in or when a new CEO comes in. Because all of those people know people that they can trust, know people that can do a good job. And this is the exact situation. So, Bobby Kotick leaving would not create a mass exodus because people would be loyal to Bobby Kotick. Furthermore, a situation like that can legitimately occur, where people are going to leave because a CEO leaves because of loyalty. But that usually happens in companies that are not exactly known for supporting struggle-snuggle scenarios. Things like that usually happen in companies that have really good records, really high morales, really high internal, what's it called? Internal, I forgot the name. Morals, internal morals and good morals and things like that. If the person is replaced with someone who is an absolute ass and so on, that might happen, but in a place like Activision Blizzard, hell no, that's not happening. I give it like a 1% chance of happening. It's true that this can happen, but it is so ridiculously rare, and I'm pretty sure this concept is mainly just because of movies. I know that this is like a popular concept in movies a little bit, that, you can't replace him because he's gonna take care of... Nah, it's a movie concept. In real life, it happens so ridiculously rarely. But there is the truth about the 300 million payout. So, I don't know if this is a rule in America, but in my country, we have some protections for people who work. For example, if you have worked in an institution, one company for a year, when you leave, you are by law afforded 1 month of pay with paid out to you after you leave without any unemployment benefits. If you work in a company for a year, you get 1 month. 2 years, 2 month worth of pay if you leave. 10 years, a whole full year of pay, and so on. Now, this is not exactly on the spot how it works, but you essentially get the idea. And Bobby Kotick has worked in Activision as a CEO of these companies for more than 10 years. So his payout would honestly, one, most likely be more than 300k. Two, a thing that people don't talk about a lot is the fact that, you know how usually you have to sign an agreement, a work agreement, which states what you need to do, what you should not do, what can get you fired, blah blah blah, all of those things? Well, positions of high quality like CEOs, directors, or this is something people really rarely mention, but even a normal tier pleb can get a super specific contract tailored to him if he is legitimately just fucking verted because he's a rock star at what he does. People of high caliber get special work contracts. Bobby's work contract could most likely has two specific things, because that's what the big contracts usually have. One, payouts. Two, protection from getting fired. Usually, rock stars like Bobby Kotick have some clauses, or, multiple clauses most likely in his case, against situations where he will be fired. Activision Blizzard does not have the money to just pay him out without problems, most likely, if he gets fired. Keep in mind, Bobby Kotick is now implicated with the decline of stock, which is a huge deal. Previously, there was no reason to fire Bobby from an investor's point of view, because he was not the reason that the stock is declining. Now he is. The reason they have not fired him, and keep in mind he would be an excellent scapegoat in this situation, is because there's probably so many clauses that give him such an extremely amazing payout in these situations that it's absolutely insane. Furthermore, remember when I mentioned that they are suing Bobby Kotick for not informing the investors? There is a chance that lawsuit may also be combined with the idea that Bobby Kotick could be removed from his position without any sort of ginormous payouts or something like that. Because, he most likely is not getting only 300 million in case of wrongful termination. Bobby Kotick is most likely getting $1 billion in case of wrongful termination or something like that. His contract is 100% protected against situations like this. His payouts and everything is most likely just mine. I can't even speculate on that. A person like Bobby Kotick has most likely the most egregiously beneficial, one-sided, protected contract of any CEO ever. Bobby Kotick is a guy who made 300 mil from, he got paid out 300 mil combined with all the stocks and options and all of those crazy things. There is an old saying about how much is someone willing to pay a person. And the saying goes something like this. If someone is paying you 100, that means that you are most likely generating them 1,000 or 10,000 in value. If someone is paying you 10,000 a month, you are at the bare minimum generating 100,000 in revenue a month for that company. That is the saying, essentially. You are going to be paid 10% of what you generate the company. That's the idea. And considering Bobby Kotick is paid 300 mil, and Blizzard's revenue was 2 or 3 billion, I think. That is 10%. That is adding a 0 or 2 zeros. Kind of depends on the position, but yeah. That is the old saying. A company is willing to pay you that much if you generate 1 additional or 2 additional zeros to whatever they are paying you. It's a pretty good way to understand your value, by the way, in a company. Because it's honestly very true and very handy. And that's almost it. And now we can actually look at, well, a funny one. This is at the end about the Activision Blizzard stocks. Let's just see if he missed anything.
God.
Old God can't remove. Yeah. And let's just hear a little bit of a funny thing about stocks. This is also honestly pretty important, but honestly it has nothing to do with, what a CEO is. But, let's find it just because it's kind of funny.
Interactions in general. Now, I want to explain why Bobby might get removed. This is why.
Bobby will not get removed. This is a pretty good place, but we already covered this. The moment Bobby Kotick was responsible for the dip in the stock personally, he became the perfect scapegoat. But again, Activision forms workplace replaceability, blah blah blah. Bobby Kotick is not going anywhere currently. And again, I 100% believe that they are they already considered removing Bobby Kotick, but his protection against removal of this sort is most likely ridiculous. And Activision flat out does not. Oh, good. Oh, let's talk about the budget a little bit. So, why can't Blizzard just remove Bobby Kotick? Why can't Blizzard even most likely pay Bobby's 300 mil? Well, that's because of how the budget works. For a company like Activision Blizzard, the budget is already kind of understood how much money is going to go into X, most likely at August. They most likely already have figured out the 2022 budget in August, September, or most likely latest October. So, Bobby Kotick being fired and paid out an extra 300 mil was not in the budget for 2021. Yeah. And the budget can, by the way, be improved, sometimes even as long as January, because nothing really tells you that, yeah, you need a 100% like legitimate budget. There can be adjustments easily made at any point, almost, until the board of directors or the CEO or whoever is supposed to be the one that puts the stamp of approval on that shit does it. But yeah, most likely they just don't have the money to pay out Bobby. Next year, maybe they fire it because now they are actually thinking about it. And again, they can easily change the budget until even next year's January or the latest February. It's just like a small thing because most companies know how much money they're gonna spend on X pretty much in the middle of the year already. So that's a thing. But let's get back to the stock thing.
If Bob does not lose round, But if Bobby starts losing them money, make a difference. So many be out on his ass.
Ah, here it is. This is a funny one.
They're speaking out about this. Thank God. Will this make a difference? It all depends on this number right here. If this number right here goes under 50, 60, not that I don't agree, what's going to happen to Bobby?
Okay, this is the real part.
Asman, stop talking badly about Blizzard. Not that I don't agree, but I have a lot of Blizzard stocks, and they go to shit because of you. Was it because of me or Bobby?
People are laughing because they think Asmongold does not influence the stocks. Asmongold has already admitted that he can influence the stocks. He has talked multiple times about companies willing to pay extremely large sums of money. And this is why I said the small thing about if a company is willing to pay an influencer 1 million, that means that they expect that influencer to generate them 10 or 100 million in value in return. If a company is willing to pay big streamers like Asmongold millions, do you honestly think that he does not have the influence to influence the stock? Obviously, he's in no way responsible for all the dips, but it's especially interesting in a situation like Asmongold's because he is the de facto face of World of Warcraft. He is, without a single shadow of a doubt, the #1 most influential person when it comes to anything about people's perspective about World of Warcraft. What he says about World of Warcraft can make or break how people look at the game. If he says positive things, people start thinking positively. If he says negative things, negatively. He has so much influence. I can guarantee you, his actions have influenced the stock prices. Is he like fully responsible for the 30 or whatever % loss that currently is happening from the point where all the bad stuff started to happen? No. Has he amplified it? 100% yes. 100%. And that's pretty much the end of the video. It's been a long one, but hey, it's been a fun one. I like talking about this thing. I wonder how many people are still listening. Whatever. Anyway, have a nice day, subscribe and like the video. Bye-bye.